So here Trump's putting out a Christmas message. Apparently he says, watch out for bad Santa. Well, I'd say this. If you buy a computer and you bought that computer and you've got a right to use that computer at home and that's the only computer you want, right? Why is apparently the most friendly and approachable, cuddly Google search engine, a mere search engine, right, which is, taking the world by storm, not snowstorm. Now, you cannot create a Google email unless you have, guess what? This little flat box thing, which we call digital ID, a mobile phone, to scan the actual screen. And actually, I did try and do it to my telephone, but it never rang at home, so that's not working. So apparently, regardless of what governments are doing with law and legislation around the world, Sergey Brin and Google have decided they're going to implement the requirement to have a digital ID, phone with you at all times, or you're not allowed to really own or use a Microsoft computer properly at home. Well, you're not allowed to engage in the Google Santa or even have a Google email address, or even, it's a miracle in England. Well, in Australia, they're not allowed to use the Google search engine. They're not even allowed to search for a digital ID. So, yes, regardless of what you vote for democratically in your country, and regardless of what the law is in your country, even if your country doesn't need digital ID, guess what? It's coming. Christmas is coming. Sergey Brin, Google, taking the world by storm. You cannot actually create an email address, believe it or not, with this very world popular search engine company who also happens to own YouTube, unless you have this little box carried around with you at all times, this little flat screen box, which it's actually so thin now it looks like a card. Is it a digital ID card? We don't know. Watch out for bad Santa. And by the way, who's been training all these call centres around the world with hundreds of thousands of staff, for massive, huge companies, learning about getting people's details and ID? It's scammer payback. Who could have been teaching all these foreign countries how to do hacking and scamming, Short of giving a load of Indians Winchester repeating rifles and teach them all how to scam and hack into people. Hey, the perfect solution for requiring the digital ID, Is that fair? So, this is the thing. Google, YouTube, the company who are breaking the law in your country, breaking the constitutional law of your country, using discrimination law against you in your country. The Equalities Act 2010, sexually discriminating against you in your country. Sexually discriminating against how you sexually express yourself in your country against other people, not being treated fairly. Bit of Santa Flexi sex going on. So, yeah, watch out for bad Santa. He's called Sergey Brin, and there's two, in fact, there's two of them, there's a pair of them, right, going around, and they've got a guy called Neil Mohan working for them. He's probably carrying the sack of coal, right? So, this is the thing. Watch out for bad Santa, because he's bringing digital ID whether you like it or not. And there's nothing that Rand Paul or any Ted Cruz or Robert F. Kennedy Jr. or any senator can do about it, because this is not voted for in government. This is a company that is bigger than your government, a company that is taking over the world. Oh, look, and he's Mark Zuckerberg doing pretty much near the same thing as well, right? Look, who are these guys? This is Die Hard. They're taking over the tower block, right? And they're training all the staff, right? And there's no ho, I've got a machine gun. It's like, ho, I've got a digital ID card. It's called a phone, right? How did you slip that one in? So there's no vote in this universe. There is only consent, submit, accept. Consent, submit, and accept the bad Santa universe. Christmas is coming. There will be no vote. There is only kneel. Submit, consent, accept. That's my Christmas message to Rand Paul, because I don't think he's doing anything about it. And putting legislation through to stop it, wow. Amazing. Ron Paul has stopped digital ID in America. Well, well, that means I can buy a Microsoft computer, set it up, and create an email address. Ho, 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 ho. No, 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 no. You can't set up you can't buy a Microsoft computer at home and set it up and have an email address unless you've got your digital ID card phone with you at all times. You're not allowed to have a computer now. How did they slip that one through the back door? So, watch out for bad Santa. This is the thing, like, these big companies have been trading bad Santas. This is the thing, scammer payback, all these scammers, where did they all pay from? Well, maybe they were all working in training centres. They've been trained to be scammers and hackers. This is the thing. And not trained, through consent, so may I accept. They've actually got paid. So, maybe I'm exaggerating that a little bit, but it's somewhere along those lines anyway. It's maybe we need quarantine or something. Maybe we need global quarantine, although Jeremy Corbyn wouldn't be right happy about that, but would solve the problems. It seems to be that Sergey Brin and Google want to welcome in bad Santas from all around the world and have a big bad Santa fest. And then it's a perfect excuse for, not being able to actually have a computer unless you have a phone, In fact, soon... I'm quite surprised that when you get a mobile phone contract, you don't get a free computer with it, right? Oh, look, it's a mobile phone contract. You get a phone, and a SIM card, what deal you're going on. And, look, you get a free gaming computer with it as well. Just perfect to enable you to create an email address and then scan the QR code with your phone. All mobile phones now come with a free desktop computer. Ho, 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 Merry Christmas, right? Now everyone can log in because, remember what Keir Starmer said? The digital ID card will be free of charge, and he was giving computers to schools for free anyway, right? So, we're not the bad Santas around here. This is the thing, right? Why vote in government for digital ID or against it when there's a very, very, very big company who happens to be taking over the world? By the way, how are they doing that? And what's fueling their Santa sledge? Crap adverts. It's like snowstorm, isn't it? Blitz the planet with shit adverts, crap adverts, which, take away seconds and minutes of your whole time, right? The snowstorm of spam adverts over all the internet, getting everywhere, and everyone's selling out to it, right? Spam the world with crap adverts, take away seconds and minutes of time, right? Santa Claus can stop time when he clicks his fingers. Santa stops time, right? Freezes time, right? Comes down the chimney while, your Google Ads is fucking playing, drops the presents, right? And then goes away, but you didn't realise you've been charged for those presents, right? And then he says, don't worry, I'll charge you onto your digital ID card, right? Oh, look, Santa's been and brought the presents, like he's charged you onto my digital ID card, right? I didn't even know. Now I'm in minus, This is the thing. So, what can you say? I can't personally blame Trump because I don't think Trump started Facebook or Google. And, Elon Musk, I can't message anyone on X. Well, you can message a few people, but not everyone. But Elon Musk bought X, didn't he? He didn't actually start it, although he's trying to do the similar thing. But I think that it is still possible to go on X just by having a computer and not having to have a mobile phone yet, but Musk wants you to do all the banking on there, right? But is Musk going to make it so you can do his X banking on a laptop computer, right? So it's kind of like, I won't mind, but the computer, effectively the computer is meant to be a big mobile phone, isn't it, right now, right? So, but you have to have two computers basically, right? This is the thing. Scan the screen of your computer with your other computer. It's like, it'd be all right if you could shrink, grow smaller computer. Look, this passes a digital ID now, but it's got no scanning thing on the back of the screen. In fact, You know, that would be okay, wouldn't it? If the back of your computer screen, rather than stuck to the wall, right? If you could take it off the wall, right? And somehow get a mirror, right? And this is what you could do. You could get a mirror round the back of your computer screen, right? And then if it's got a digital ID scanner on it, then you can reflect it from the window and then get another mirror and then reflect it onto your screen, and then you can see the QR code. You can reflect the QR code from your computer screen, bounce it off the back of the wall, and round to the front of the computer screen again, you know? So it takes two, baby. It takes two, baby. Me and you. Dun, dun, dun. So that's what I've got to say for the Christmas message for Rand Paul and the Americans, right? So now you're not allowed to have a computer unless you have two computers, right? So you got to have two computers, a big one and a small one. It's like little and large, isn't it? Hey, look, I got a little computer and a large one. You're not allowed to have an email address on your big computer. And it's like little Frank. It's little Frank. It's like little Frank. Look, it's little Frank. You're not allowed to have a big Frank unless you've got a little Frank. You're not allowed to have a big Santa unless you've got a little Santa. So I really don't know what Google are doing. We're trying to keep you safe and secure after we've trained, India. Let's train all India and the rest of the world to be scammer paybacks. And then, it's online safety. Now, we'll have to give you all the digital ID cards now. You have to have two computers because we just trained the entire world to be scammers, right? Oh, that's great, Thank you. Never mind Bill Gates. So this is the thing. Currently, to actually properly have a Google account, I mean, what if you don't have a phone? What if you're not connected? You're actually not allowed to buy and have a computer unless you've got a telephone, which is kind of ridiculous, right? You can ring my bell. This is it. So, it's getting ridiculous, right? In a world where an honest citizen can't go into PC World or Walmart or whatever you have in America, right? Buy a desktop computer, go home, right? Set it up. No laws have been broken yet. And this is not even connecting it to the internet, right? Yeah, this is like in Australia, you can't even search, right? You set the computer up. Oh, I'll have an email address, right? Oh, well, we need an internet connection for that, right? Oh, damn. Well, unlucky Australia, the snow has melted. This is the thing. So, I'd like to have one of those email addresses. I've heard of a popular search engine called Google. Why don't you search for it on there? But you need a telephone line connection, right? Just a minute. I've got to put my telephone line connection in, but they want me to enter a phone number. Well, I tried to enter my landline in. I'm sure it did it before and spoke it. But this time, just a minute. Isn't that this very same telephone connection that I'm already using to connect to the internet that you want me to type the phone number in for? So even though I'm connected to the internet and I'm online, now you want me to go and type the telephone number in order to get some sort of message, right? Well, if I'm connected to the internet by that very same connection, right, which is my phone now as well, we don't have BT separate anymore, right? What else do they want? They don't even have separate BT. It's all in one phone line. It's all in one. It's not even, we don't even have BT separate system, separate telegraph wire connection. It's all in one. It's all in one digital connection. Now, you're going to put your phone number in, but don't you already know my phone number? That's how I'm fucking connected to the internet, right? What is Google doing, right? I don't know what the mind of Sergey Brin does, but he trained them all, right? Hey, Santa trains the Google elves around the world to be your internet hackers, right? And then Scammer Payback goes after them and tortures them against it's a good job they're not in Europe, right? Because if they were, then they'd be suing Scammer Payback for, infringement of human rights or whatever, torture or whatever it is, right? This is the thing. Who trained all these people in these call centres, to, specialise in getting people's information, I don't think Scammer Payback is always doing is teaching them torture, right? Hey, this is how to torture people. We used to do it back in the slave days, right? Just torment them, right? Hey, that's a great plan, and I'm sure the FBI have been helping out with that as well, like we've got this cool new thing called waterboarding, and we've also got this online torture, apparently we've been getting scammer payback to go help torture people in other countries, and no, I'm the racist one, I'm racist, right, I'm racist, no, let's go torture loads of Indian people like they're giving the Indian burn. Oh, look, it's Indian burn. Look, they're not in Europe, so we can do it, We might as well line them up for the fucking gas chamber then if they're not in the EU. This is the thing, right? Just be normal, right? Just be normal. Have a normal computer, like Bill Gates did. But, this is the new gen. This is not Bill Gates now. This is like Zuckerberg and Sergey Brin banging two heads together, or even three heads with Elon Musk's into the picture now, Larry Moe and Curly. So what's next? We don't know, because these guys are taking over planet Earth, whether you like it or not. And don't worry about the polling station. Submit, consent, accept is the new law. Right? And this is what it's all about. Submit, consent, accept. Larry Ellison's Oracle. Submit, consent, accept. In fact, just hold your hand up in the air. Hold your hand up diagonally and take the oath. I submit, I consent, and I accept the Oracle. This is it. Zeke Heil. I submit, I consent, and I accept the Oracle. They'll be living that in America, won't they? Like, oh, say, can you see? Na, 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 I swear allegiance to the United States of America. Zeke, submit, consent, accept. Submit, consent, accept. Submit, consent, accept. Submit, consent, accept. This is it. Submit, consent, accept. This is the thing. So it's like overriding the Constitution of the United States of America. It's like a Section 230, isn't it? But it's called Section Google, Section Amazon, Area 52, Section Amazon, Area 52. The Z-Zone, deep underground beneath the planet Earth, in the catacombs, down in the bowels of the Earth, in the Z-Zone. Consent, submit, accept, I don't know. I don't know what it takes, there's got to be some kind of psychological evaluation that these people need to go through. Like, once you've been selling that many crap adverts to people, from all around the world and stealing their time away like some kind of supervillain, you need some sort of psychological evaluation, But I won't mind whether they've had him in front of these people have been in front of the Senate, but I haven't actually found Google's managed to escape it so far. They've had Zuckerberg in front of there, and Elon Musk is like, kind of like, we're friends today, gone tomorrow. It's like, 1 minute he's friends with Trump, then he's not, then he is, then he's not, then he is, then he's not. It's like Fallout friends. So it's like the get-along gang, isn't it? So, Google seemed to be the only one who escaped and evade it all, but apparently because he hasn't got any fixed address and you can't speak to him. So, I really don't know what it's like. And who's he? I can't remember the other guy's name. He's irrelevant. Sergey Brin and the irrelevant one, right? Look really friendly with rosy cheeks, like little Santa elves, right? So, why should someone need to buy two computers? But I mean, it won't be as bad if every desktop computer came with a smartphone, right? But we're just waiting for them to do that, right? So it's like, you buy your Google desktop, with and then you reach around the back of the screen, and then this is like a patented product idea, by the way. And then the Google phone just slides off the back of the box, like your code number slides off the back of the satellite box, to get your code. Like, oh look, it's just a card. You know, the phone's so thin now, it's just a card. The digital ID card slides off the back of the computer. Now you can scan it. Scan your digital ID card from the back of your computer, you know, which has a like a micro QR code scanner on it, and then slip and slide it back in again, you know. Now you can carry a digital ID card with you everywhere you go. Like grow smaller computer, grow smaller. So, you know, this is where they're heading. Don't worry about your government subscribing to digital ID or not, because YouTube are on it, Google are on it, Facebook are on it. You know, whether you vote for it or not. So I don't really know what Rand Paul's doing with his digital ID bill, because, you know, can Rand Paul even set up a Google account without a digital ID card? You know, Rand, why don't Rand Paul's new bill say that, like, it's illegal to make someone have a desktop computer, and force them to have some kind of other digital ID card device or something, because then you can't use your computer. You got to have two computers, right? You know, so and the government are wanting to start dishing it out for free, right? So, you know, oh no, you can have a Google email address if you have your government digital ID card, right? You know, it's just despicable. This like and it's a strategy behind it, because and that strategy is exactly what they did with Big Brother Watch, right? They said, hey, look, it's the EU, and I'm not blaming America for that, because some America didn't even didn't even have the ECHR, right? Hey, look, we got this thing, it's called privacy, right? And you have the right to it. But hey, look, here's a TV program that you all should be interested in, and everyone should watch it and become the greatest fans of it in the worworld. Let's perv and spy on everyone in their houses, right? That's cool. But then you just put an act of law through which says we won't do that, right? So no, it's just like a trick. It's a red herring gimmick. We actually really wanted to do that, but we double blinded you, and now everyone loves it, right? It's perving and spying on people in their own house, right? You know, it's the greatest show on earth. You know, oh look, we're going to oppose digital ID, but guess what? Surprise! Now you've all got one carrying it around in your hand, right? Oh, that's another trick, right? It's, you know, when will these surprise tricks ever end? Surprise! Look, Santa opened the present. Hey, look, I got you a digital ID card. But I voted to oppose it, Santa. You know, hey, Santa's brought me a digital ID card for Christmas, but I voted to oppose it, you know. Talk about presents that you don't want, like, you know, socks or, you know, the wrong size underpants or something like that, right? So, I mean, this is it. I mean, can you actually have a computer that works when you turn it on, right? Without requiring anything else other than you to type into the keyboard, right? You know, I mean, is it much to ask, you know? I mean, it wouldn't be as bad if they'd actually scammed you to do the you know, biometrics and put a little tiny screen in there, and then they just fucking scanned your eyeballs anyway, or voice while you're talking without your consent, to secretly set up your Google account, right? Which they're probably doing anyway, but that's actually at least, you know, it's like, you know, torturing animals, you know, at least, you know, if you do it in secret, you know, they don't know about it, you know, or whatever, or doing some experiments on animals without them knowing about it, right? This is the thing. But this was like, oh, no, you got to have your phone now, you know? You can't have a Google email address unless you have a phone, you know? Or even the house phone. Well, I tried to type that number in, but it didn't seem to work. They never rang me, you know, I typed in properly, you know, I know what my house number is, right? So, it's just scam. The worst thing is that the government is advocating this, right? Hey, look, let's use public taxpayers' government to advertise Google and Facebook. Look, it's a private for-profit company that is making billions, and let's use the government to advertise it, right? Facebook, YouTube, Blue Sky, X, whatever, you know. If Baron Denman was here, you know, with his Parliamentary Papers Act 1840, they'd have all been disqualified because they're for profit, right? Why is it, right, that Baron Denman can disqualify private companies, right, from privilege because they're for profit, but now We've got for-profit companies all over the Parliament website making money out of it, getting free advertisement from a taxpayer, right? When they've already, got themselves onto every other website, and taking 5 seconds of your time away, covering the screen up, right? What is the British government doing? Because Parliament, London, SW1, OWP, whatever, does not advertise a for-profit private company. Neither does a telephone number in London. And neither does the email address of parliament.gov.uk, right? So what is this Nick Clegg, Mark Zuckerberg, chin chin, smash some pints together thing? Who's behind it? Who is behind it? Because they're, the policies of what these YouTube are doing, right, and Facebook and Google are, fuck you all, we don't care what your laws are, right, we're just going to come up with our own laws and, impose them on the world, something concern accept, right? We're setting up our own government, effectively, and the government likes it. They're in, at the moment, by the looks of it. So, if the government are in on it, setting up a new world government, then is that not treason? Because what's the point of defending your borders, right? And did anyone vote for it? And is that United Nations? So, it would have been all right if the government had got all their stuff on BBC, which was actually, partly joint taxpayer funded by the government, right? But this is the thing. I think that YouTube, Facebook and Google are secretly jointly by the government now because they're just investing loads of money in Google's investing billions in the UK. They're not going to be investing any money in the UK because YouTube have sexually discriminated the sexual expression between users in England against the Equalities Act, and someone needs to go to prison for it. Why shouldn't they when Assange had to go to prison for, one video, right? If Assange has to go to prison for one video, why shouldn't Neil Mohan have to go to prison, right? You want a guy with glasses, this is the thing. Why should Neil Mohan have to go to prison? Why shouldn't he? Why shouldn't Neil Mohan have to go to prison? Oh, look, all this fancy shit like, Bruce Lee. All these fancy Bruce Lee moves with the floating screen moving around and all 50 billion options popping up over the top of each other or whatever. All the fancy moves, right? But yet, no, you're actually breaking a law of the country and using sexual discrimination against people, right? And trying to make out, oh no, we're the good guys. We're trying to protect the community, right? We are trying to protect the community. So, but they're not. No, actually, what are you doing? Let's have a look. Oh no, trying to take over the world. So there's a difference there. Trying to protect the community or trying to take over the community, right? Protecting the community or trying to take over the global community are two different things, right? Speak to the hand because the face ain't listening, right? When someone's trying to take over the world when you can't just ring them up on the telephone and go, oh, hello, is Robert F. Kennedy Jr. there, please? Or at least speak to his assistant, right? Oh, look, he's got his own website. I'll send a message on there, right? Not speak to the bots or whatever, the minions, the bots or whatever, Team YouTube on X. So, Elon Musk is less responsible because it's not his master plan, right? At least he's hey, look, there's a cool platform there. I might buy it, So he just comes along halfway through, oh, I'll buy that platform. I might get into social media as well, right? Oh, what's going on here, right? What's going on here? Oh, hey, Elon, we're just trying to take over the world. Oh, that's interesting. What, including Russia that was trying to start World War III? Yeah, including Russia as well. By the way, the guy who started Google, he's kind of half Russian as well. Did you know that? I'd throw that one in as well.